take a walk, take a breather, go eat a snack, go take a sip of water and stuff. Just clear your mind for a second so that you can refresh your mind and your eyes and then go back to the problem.
Transmission received. Authorization granted. Welcome to the video.
What's up, dreamers? Hope you're having a fantastic day or had a fantastic day, depending on where you are in the world. And I have to let you know that you are awesome. Welcome to Driving and Vibing. Bow, wow, 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 wow. What's the vibe today? Today I want to talk about irritability, angerness. We're talking about the emotion of anger and irritation and how it could, and dwelling on these emotions or things that happen and how they can negatively impact not only your overall health or your mindset in general, but how trying to work on avoiding these like lingering emotions can really benefit you. Not only in your overall health and wellness, but your gaming performance. Now, I've said this before in other videos, but I'll say it again. Story time. I used to get very angry playing video games. Counter-Strike particularly. A lot of people I know get angry playing that game, and because it's frustrating, like getting outplayed or this road particularly is terrible. Terrible road. I'm trying to avoid all the bumps, but a lot of people I know would get angry in the game because it's frustrating getting outplayed and missing shots and this and that. But what's worse than getting that initial frustration of missing those shots or getting outplayed is having that lingering emotion, because your mind and body are going to get basically stuck on that. Your cortisol is going to spike, cortisol being the stress hormone. So your cortisol is going to spike during this bout of anger or irritation. And chronic cortisol, high levels of cortisol is not necessarily a good thing. We'll go over that in another video, but your cortisol is going to spike, and that's going to drive inflammation, and it's going to just further a downward spiral of emotions and kind of, not feeling overall your best. So especially if you're competing, this is why it's so important to stay calm while competing, stay calm and collected, because if you're competing or you're playing in a tournament or whatever it may be, and you are letting your emotions get the best of you, I'm sure you've heard of this, your performance is going to suffer. You're not going to be able to think as well as you usually could. You're not going to be able to react as well as you could. It's just overall not the most ideal situation. So let's get into a couple tips. Now, I used to get angry all the time, but let's get into a couple tips and tricks that we could do. When I started playing again, during the pandemic, I started playing Valorant. I got into beta, and I was very excited. It was like Counter-Strike with some extra oomph in it, right? Because they give you those different agents or whatever they're called, and you can play with different skills and all this and that. If you don't know what the game is, go check it out. It's a good game. But I was excited to get into the beta and play it. And during this time, much older, I wouldn't say much older, but I was definitely older than when I was competing in Counter-Strike, and I was more consistent. I was hitting my shots. I raised ranks much better. So age is just a number, by the way. This is why I'm saying this. Age is just a number. It's not your performance in game is not 100% about your age. No matter your age, you can perform as long as you're taking care of your mind and your body. And that's where, your overall health and wellness, but your emotions come into play as well. Taking care of your mind and your body will help to boost your gaming performance, including your mind and your body, including anger and, irritation levels. So I was very shocked. This is kind of why I wanted to push I always wanted to kind of make these videos and help people in the situation that I was in, where they were aspiring to go, play professional or play high competitive levels or play in tournaments and stuff, but maybe they're struggling. But realizing that the older I got, I thought I was going to be, a little less, like I thought I wasn't going to be able to hit as many shots as I did, like I didn't think I was going to be able to perform as well as I did in my Counter-Strike days. I think I played better. I honestly, truly believe that I played better. in Valorant than I did 10 years prior. Well, I guess it wasn't 10 years. It was like 6 to 8 years prior in Counter-Strike. And even though I got older, I think it's because I know it's because I've been taking care of my health and wellness. And I have been really working on my mindset and preventing myself from getting angry. Now, are there times that I get angry? Yeah, of course. Are there times that I get stuck sometimes dwelling on things? Yes, of course. I chose this topic because something happened this morning where I was letting it linger, and now I'm making this video. It's like it's gone. But here's a tip, okay? Now that we're done ranting, and I said I was going to do a tip 2 minutes ago. My biggest tip, and I heard this before in a book, I think it was, or read it, whatever. My biggest tip would be you dwell on it for, it's like a minute, like no more than a minute. And, you know, like you can dwell on it for a minute, like let it get you angry and this and that. And then you got to push past it. If you don't push past it, that's kind of like, if you're unable to push past it, that's kind of like the red flag there, where it's like, this isn't going to be very good. So you want to push past it. Like whatever it was that just happened. Let's use video games as an example. Let's say I get significantly outplayed, and I like, let's say I set myself up in the perfect position, but I miss my shot, and like I outplay the person, but I miss my shot. That's infuriating. And you know, so that happened, and now I'm furious. But what I could do, and this is what I was doing in Valorant, was what I could do is think about it in the aspect like, yeah, that was infuriating. I can't believe I missed my shot, but it's not worth dwelling on because I always have other opportunities to make it forward, right? So instead of dwelling on it like, oh, that was infuriating, but let's think about it in a broad aspect. What, in a wider lens, what is the reason for why I missed? Maybe I didn't set my crosshair up properly, right? Maybe I did something, maybe I made a footstep that kind of showed or allowed my opponent to know that I was in that exact position, which gave them the upper hand, even though I was set up to have the upper hand, if that makes sense. And that kind of relieves the tension in your mind and allows you to kind of use it as an example and push forward, instead of dwelling on it and going into this downward spiral of negative emotions and poor gaming performance. So keeping those specific emotions in check is a very powerful way to continue forward, not only in your gaming performance, but your overall health and wellness. I mean, even in work or school settings. I'm going to give a work setting now where I worked HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, air conditioning. That's where the HVAC comes into play. And there are times where I was a service tech, which means I would go and diagnose problems and then attempt to fix them if possible, or replace parts, whatever it was. And this is a lot of problem solving and, you know, trial and error. And sometimes a problem exists and like I could not find it for the life of me, and I would get frustrated and irritated, and I could not find it, and I'd get mad, more and more mad, and then it's like you get these anger shades over your eyes, and you can't even, like, some people have probably experienced this, where you just can't even think properly. This happens. This is like true stuff. So what you do is, and you can't really do this in the middle of a game, but in between games and stuff, you can get up and take a walk, take a breather, go eat a snack, go take a sip of water and stuff. Just clear your mind for a second so that you can refresh your mind and your eyes, and then go back to the problem. The amount of times I did this and it actually helped, where I was able to find the problem after however much time during HVAC, my time working there was it really does work, because sometimes you just get so stuck in this feeling of, and it's like, when you get stuck in that feeling, you can't really get past what the initial problem was to even attempt to find a solution. That is why taking little breaks, and that's why being like aware of your anger and emotion is so powerful, because it can help to push you past the initial problem so that you can actually find a solution for that problem, be it in game or out of game. Woo! If you have any tips that you use, I'd love to hear them in the comment. Maybe I can use them in my life. If you like what you heard, hit that like button. It greatly helps out the channel. Hit that subscribe button for more content like this, and I hope to see everybody in the next video. Later, dreamers.